are listening to episode 45 Behind the BS with special guest Tibiryus. Enjoy. Today's episode is brought to you by GamerGoo. GamerGoo, dominate the competition. For more information, check out gamergoo.com. What's up, everyone? Mystic Mike here with Behind the BS, Behind the Broadcasting Software, and today's guest is Tibiryus. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Perfect. How are you doing today, Tibiryus?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good. How about you?
I am doing excellent. What I'll get you to do first, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your streaming, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. Okay, so I am Tibiryus. I am a 32-year-old content creator, I guess you could say. I have been in and out of the stream / content creation realm for over 5 years now. Dabbled in a little bit of everything. I've been a gamer since I was old enough to pick up a controller, I guess. But out of college is kind of when I started into the actual streaming area. But I've done everything, kind of done the Twitch scene, the Mixer scene, a little bit of YouTube. Now I'm on D Live and definitely loving it over there. But I've also, like I kind of mentioned earlier, I've done a couple podcasts prior in between some of the streaming stuff. So I did the first, I would say unofficial, but kind of the main podcast for No Man's Sky before that game launched.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we did. It was called No Man's Cast. It lasted up until launch, basically, and then people realized that the game at launch was not great, so it kind of fizzled out really quick. But I did one for just a group of guys, and I did one. Was it the Nerdy Man's podcast or something like that, where we had a few different guys from a few different walks of life just talk about being a man, I guess, or being a dude.
Being a dude. Being a nerdy dude.
Yeah, exactly. And then I did one for a little while, just kind of by myself for Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. That worked out pretty well for a little while. But I think my main passion is actually helping streamers. I would say 85% of kind of what I do right now. I mean, I have a full-time job outside of this, but 85% of what I do now is a lot of help, helping people with streams. I run a community of my own that's kind of picking up some steam now called the Legion of Gamers. And then I do a little bit of everything, honestly, but I try to stream at least 3 to 4 times a week just to get out there in front of people. And typically the people that play with me get a little upset because sometimes I end up stopping playing and answering questions about streaming. Yeah.
And I mean, that comes with the job, though.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's kind of what I like to do too. So like I've always told people, like, I'm not into the stream game to be a full-time streamer. If it happens, I'd love it, obviously. But for me, it's more about helping out the community, because I know how difficult the content creation community can be. I'm not a huge fan of the word toxic, but it can be.
It can be. Oh, yeah, very. Sure. Yeah.
And just helping people kind of guide them through that is always a fun thing for me. But yeah, the other thing I've been doing a lot of is creating Discord communities and servers for people. I find myself falling into this trap of, like, people will come into our community Discord and then ask me to set up their personal Discord. And I've done a couple different ones. But like, I kind of like to tell people, if you want to see a Discord that I set up and just let go of after I got it going, jump into the Star Wars, The Old Republic Discord.
Yeah.
The official one, I actually set that up and created it. And then one day I was ready to let it go. So I just told the guys, here you go. And I just walked away, and I haven't been back since, but that's one that kind of took off pretty quickly. So I mean, I think my life, like I mentioned, I've got 2 kids as well. So I'm a family man. I'm an outdoorsman. I do a lot of hunting and fishing because I live in the Midwest. But yeah, that's me. That's Tibiryus. I'm a variety streamer too, I guess. So if that kind of helps.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so you've been streaming. You basically streamed on pretty much every platform. How long have you been streaming for?
Yeah,
since out of college.
Over 5 years. Over 5 years. So I've actually been out of college for 10 years now, I think. So graduated with a degree in public relations and digital media.
Oh, nice.
Never used it a day in my life other than, I guess, promoting myself, on in any way I can through social media and things like that. But never used it a day in my life. I'm in the cybersecurity realm right now. But yeah, so I started on Twitch. I dove in when Twitch was big. When Beam, or the old Beam, people now know it as Mixer, came out, I created a profile on there like right away, but I never used it. But I was on Twitch for, I want to say like 2.5, maybe 3 years. And I was doing okay, but I kind of fell into the trap of joining a bunch of follow for follow groups.
Yeah.
And I was kind of a member of some of the bigger ones. And I got follows. I mean, I think at one point my Twitch account was up to almost 1,000 followers.
Wow.
But the problem for me was I never really saw the views. It was always kind of, I'd get the follows because I was following people and it'd come through and you'd see those go up and you'd get excited. But when I was streaming, no more than 10 people would come in, or I'd never really have those big follow nights or whatever. So,
that's one of those things we always say is the follow for follow is like everyone having a birthday party and passing out invitations. Hey, come to my party, I'll go to your party. Well, everyone's party's the same day and everyone's going to stay at their own party, basically.
That's exactly right. And it's hard. I mean, that's the one thing I tell people. So about the beginning of the year, I started this little thing on Twitter. It was like a hashtag streamer wisdom.
Yeah.
And I basically put out, like, for 25 days, I put out just these little, 220 character streamer wisdom blurbs that was like, just things I've learned over the 5 years. And one of them is like, join follow for follow at your own risk. Realize that it's not what you think it is. If you can get in and you can create good content, you won't need follow for follow.
Exactly.
If your content is something that people want to come back to, then that follow for follow won't matter. They'll bring more people in. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the streaming game is definitely very competitive. Obviously, you're not just competing against the person that just started up yesterday. You're also competing against the big timers, especially on platforms like Twitch and Mixer. You have a lot of people coming through. Mixer is taking off huge. It's like it's amazing how quickly Microsoft has turned Beam into Mixer and then run it from there. I'm primarily an Xbox streamer, so that's why I moved from Twitch to Mixer, because it was easier for me. I didn't have a setup at the time. So I could stream straight from my Xbox and, get those follows and views and stuff like that. But once I finally built a setup and got myself going, I kind of understood the ins and outs of like what it takes to actually create a good stream. And then I would say, so I was on Mixer for about 2 years, and then just in January, I heard about DLive from Lieutenant Zonda, actually.
Okay, yeah.
LT Zonda would basically dropped everything on Twitch and jumped on this brand new platform. And I've always been a follower of his and Streamers Connected and what he does.
Yeah.
And I kind of went over there and I checked it out for a few days. I created a profile and I've really been streaming ever since. And within 2 months, I became partnered over there.
Oh, wow.
So that community is definitely different. It seems like a lot of the times, like you obviously have probably seen this too, a lot of the communities around streaming are very similar.
Yeah.
You have the people that just watch and don't stream.
Yep.
And then you have the people that just kind of dabble a little bit. And then you have the guys that are either pushing for full time or just love what they do. And it's really interesting to try to find kind of that sweet spot, I guess, of viewers and things like that. But it is definitely all about the content you create. That's for sure.
100%. So with DLive, like I'm still not, I haven't really looked into DLive at all. I just started to look at Twitch. What does DLive offer above and beyond those two besides being new?
So besides being new, DLive is kind of an interesting take on it. So obviously it's very similar. I mean, all the streaming platforms are the same. You create your content, you throw it out there, you let people watch. Yeah. Twitch obviously has its ability to give back to the streamers by way of bits, right? Mm-hmm. Viewers can purchase them. It's been so long, but I think viewers can also gain them by watching. Is that true? Like slowly or no? Or do you just have to purchase them?
I think just purchase.
Yeah,
but I'm not 100%.
Purchase.
Yeah.
Okay. So then Mixer obviously has a similar thing with Sparks, where you actually do gain them. It's kind of like an experience thing. You gain them from watching or you gain them from streaming.
Yeah. And they just brought out the Embers as well.
Yep, exactly. So I think the Embers are purchase only, right?
Yeah, they're purchase only.
Yeah. So those are, that's a way to give to streamers, but you have to be at a certain level in order to actually be able to monetize that. I think you have to be partnered with Mixer, right?
You have to be partnered.
Monetize off of that?
Yeah. Right now they are trialing with about 1,000 US streamers, the Embers. They're calling it the Embers for All program.
Okay.
So they are trialing right now with non-partnered streamers to see how the Embers are going to work. Because my guess is, and a lot of us are kind of speculating, of course, none of this is true. None of this has come from NDA stuff that I've heard. But we're thinking that it's probably on the path to some sort of affiliate program is what a lot of us are guessing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So they've got that. And when did that start? I'm just curious for timeframes because the D Live might have actually kind of.
Well, the Embers started in, I want to say January, and then the 1,000 Embers for All program just started in March, end of March, I believe it was.
Okay. So what D Live offers that's different is basically D Live's currency is based off of cryptocurrency called Lino. Okay. So what happens is basically just for watching, like if I'm sitting there watching and interacting in chat or typing or whatever, I'm getting a Lino, one Lino or something like that. They have a little chest below the screen of whoever you're watching. And as you interact with the streamer or talk to them or whatever, this bar fills up. And once it fills up, you click on the chest, it's a random generated, you get, I think it's 1, 2, 3 or 4 Lino out of it. And that goes into your account. And what you can do is you can give that back in the form of, and I'll break this down real quick, but they have lemons, which is 1 Lino. They have ice creams, which is 10 Lino. They have diamonds, which is 100 Lino. Ninjaginis, which there's like a theme here. It's kind of a ninja style theme, but Ninjaginis are 1,000 Lino. And then they just released what's called a Ninjet, and it's 10,000 Lino. So basically there's an exchange rate here. So not only do you have your D Live account, but it's also linked to your Lino network account, which is like a digital cryptocurrency wallet. Okay. So as a streamer, I can gain that Lino the same way. If I'm streaming, I can click on the chest as well. But I'm like, my goal is to provide content that people want to donate their Lino to. And this is something that day one as a streamer, you can start earning money off the bat. Like if you started up tomorrow, 1 follower, guy comes in, drops a lemon on you, you get 1 Lino, you bank it. You can hold on to that. And it transfers over to your account just like any blockchain cryptocurrency. You can see the transaction. It's very transparent. Anybody can really see the transaction. But what you can start doing is at every 1,000 Lino you get, you can bank it, and it basically keeps it in a savings account for you. And anytime you want, you can cash out. Currently, the Lino exchange rate is, I think it's 0.012 dollars, which obviously isn't very much yet, but the goal I think at some point is to release that publicly so that it can fluctuate just like Bitcoin or just like Ethereum fluctuates. So the other thing about this is anybody can go buy Lino to donate. So if I wanted to drop a Ninjagini on somebody sometime, I think I can pay it's $15 for 1,000 or 1188. It's kind of an interesting way to do it. But for 1188, so 1,188 Lino. And right there I can drop a Ninjagini on my favorite streamer if I want. And that automatically goes to them. They can convert it to cash if they want right away. So I think not only built off cryptocurrency, but one of the big things about it is that it allows streamers and content creators to start monetizing right away if they want. Yep.
Even
but
viewers.
They also, exactly. If you watch a ton of content and you're constantly interacting and talking with these streamers, you're going to continue to gain that Lino. And you're going to gain, that support as well. So the other thing that kind of turned me on is, I think, the big push for people when they stream is they want to feel like they're part of something. So working to that partnership or working to that affiliate. I made affiliate within the first week on Twitch when they announced it.
Yep.
And that was kind of obviously my intro to monetizing on Twitch if I wanted to. With Mixer, like you said, they're just kind of, they might be rolling out that affiliate program. I know they have different tiers now too. They released those last year at some point, I think, where it's a little bit of a tiered system, I think. But
on Mixer right now, it's mostly just the partner.
Wasn't it partner? But isn't there a lower tier? Like partner was like 2,000 or 5,000 follows, and then there's something lower than that too, I thought.
Well, originally what it was to get partner, you needed 750 followers and then like 50 consecutive viewers, and then they just changed it to 2,000 followers. Okay. And then the viewership is based upon what you play. So if you play Fortnite, you need higher numbers. If you play Variety, they look more on your social media side and your community side. Yeah. Okay. So they base it a little bit different.
Right. So with DLive, they actually allow you to apply for it's called verified partnership at 200 followers.
Oh, wow.
Now it is a process, so you obviously can go through it. You apply once you hit 200, and I think it took me like 2 weeks, I think 2.5 to 3 weeks to actually get the email that says, hey, you're now a verified partner. And that basically what that does is it gives you the ability to have subs, which is the same thing. People pay 298 Lino to sub to you per month if they want to. And then that's just like any sub with Mixer or with Twitch.
It's even cheaper, really, if a Lino's only depending what they're paying.
I'm trying to figure if I can do it in my head. I think it's still just a little under $5 a month.
Under $5.
Yep. And then you also get the ability to host. So that's the other thing is like with Twitch, you can host right away. With Mixer, you can host right away. But that host aspect basically allows you to kind of throw out your host to people, whether it's while you're streaming or, when you're away. And that kind of gives you that a little bit more of a following too. So
you can only host if you're a partner.
If you're a verified partner,
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then there's one more level, which is called a global partner, and the application for that begins, I think it's 1,000 follows. But then that kind of gives you a little bit more skin in the game, basically. And the one other thing that I find really cool about DLive is that you get what are called content bonuses. And just a quick overview. So if I stream 7 days a week and I make 1,000 Lino per stream, what happens is just a small amount of that. So DLive never takes a cut out of this. They're not making any money off of streamers at all. But what they're doing is they take some of what everybody makes and puts it into a pot. And every 7 days from your stream, you get a little bit of that based off of what was earned for your stream and what was earned from other people. So like I typically, so like I said, I stream 3 to 4 days a week, maybe. And every time I log in after my stream and I've got a content bonus from a week ago. And then, so like every day I've got this little content bonus. It can go, anywhere from, 20 Lino. I think the biggest one I've had is like a little over $1,000.
Oh, wow.
For that. So, and it's really cool because it's obviously giving back to the streamers because it's blockchain, because it's content creation. You're uploading your content to DLive for other people to see. So it's definitely a different take on kind of a similar program that everybody else is doing. I mean, you have all the other companies out there like Hitbox that have, been around for a while. I think if you've heard of Vim, visit vim.tv. They recently, and I found this out the hard way, they recently actually changed their multi-chat, the vim.chat, to only Vim. So only Vim users can use it. I actually used to multi-stream with Restream to Mixer and DLive, and I used vim.chat to monitor both chats at the same time. But I had a friend that was actually trying to do this with Twitch and DLive, and we noticed that Vim has gone away, so she can't monitor her chat anymore that way. But
I know with Restream, I just started using it, and you can monitor all your chats on it.
Right. So they pull DLive and they pull Twitch and they pull Mixer, and I think they have a few others as well. But we were noticing the other day when we were trying to set it up for her that it wasn't D Live in. Like it would multi-stream for her, but her chat wasn't being pulled in. So maybe it's just kind of an error right now with D Live. But
I know it's in a beta program right now. They were saying with the whole can't remember what they call it, but multicasting the chat or whatever. So basically when it shows up in my Mixer, it'll say like YouTube and then what the name of the person and what they said.
Yep. And that was kind of one of those things that I really liked about Vim was that, like, it would show you like a little icon. It was a Mixer chat or it was a D Live chat or, whatever it was. And like, so-and-so dropped bits on you, so-and-so dropped Lino on you. And it just kind of showed it and scrolled it through there. But I've recently gone away from that. And since I was making the big partner push, I've solely been streaming on D Live and I honestly haven't looked back since. So,
wow. Now with the viewers earning Lino as well, can they cash that out?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's crazy.
So when you set up your account with D Live, you also can link it to your Lino wallet, your cryptocurrency wallet, and whatever you bring into that is yours. I mean, if you choose to give it out to other streamers, you do that. If you choose to hold on to it, you can do that. So like I said, I've always kind of been a streamer of the people, I guess. So a lot of the times what I'll do is I'll lock in every time I get 1,000 or, say 1,100 Lino at a time. I'll lock in my 1,000 just to hold it for myself. But that extra that I have, I always go throw it back to the community. Just because I like to, reward streamers for doing what they do. And I know what the grind is like. And I know that, like, especially with a platform like this that allows you to monetize so quickly. If that's what you're wanting to do, I'm going to give you my Lino to help you get to that point, because I've bought in a little bit. I've spent a little bit of cash to get some Lino built up and also to help other streamers, but I don't monetize a lot. So I just throw it back into the platform.
That is awesome. It's good to see streamers doing that too, because it's like you said, it is a competition, but at the same time, I think it works. The platforms work better when we all work together.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. And that's kind of always, with as a content creator and a lot of people coming into the streaming world, like they think it's easy to just jump in, start streaming, get the viewers. And unfortunately it's not. No, it's not easy. And not only is it not easy, like when you get those viewers and you get those follows, it's hard to keep them. I mean, even you'll have those, those people that come in constantly because they like you or you've talked to them or, they're part of your community or whatever. But if you're pulling new follows in and new viewers in, it's not easy holding on to those. No. And that's where, I think that's where kind of the competition comes in, depending on when your stream time is or, who you're competing against or whatever. Or what you're playing too. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of one of those things that it definitely, as far as the community aspect, like because D Live is growing, but it's smaller right now. There's so many people out there that are just willing to, throw the Lino around and spread it out. And the community so far is, I would say, a lot less toxic than other communities that I've been a part of too. But like I said, I can't speak. I really don't like to speak badly about Twitch or Mixer because I understand the platforms. Like I get it. I know what it's like to be on all of those. But D Live is definitely a different animal, and it's one that I've definitely found a home with.
I'm definitely, like, you're really selling it really good. Like I'm going to have to check it out. And
absolutely do it.
Because I just started streaming about a year ago. Like I just had my 1 year anniversary, like April 10th. And
congrats.
I thank you. And I was really like, in that mindset of, I'm only going to be on Mixer. That's it. I'm Mixer. I'm not going to go. But now the last few months I've been doing more YouTube content. I've started kind of dabbling on Twitch just to kind of more so get my brand out there, because I know Twitch is bigger. So I want to try to reach a bigger audience, obviously, and especially doing this podcast. I want to talk to D Live guys. I want to talk to Twitch guys. So I want to really get my brand out there. But D Live, I've seen a lot of big streamers moving to it. Like even like a lot of partners from Mixer. Some of them are like just dropping Mixer partnership and going right to D Live.
There are definitely a lot. And when I first got in, I think obviously, like I said, I followed LT Zonda over here because, I mean, he was one that I had followed and I've been a part of Streamers Connected for a while. Yeah. But seeing him come over and then some other guys, like I've reached out to some Mixer guys that are dual streaming. And that's the other thing too. Obviously, as an affiliate or even a partner with Twitch, it's a big no to dual stream.
Yeah.
It's definitely against their terms of service. Mixer's a little less so. They're kind of okay with guys doing that. DLive is like, do it, get your brand out there however you want. We don't care what you do. Use the platform how you want. But yeah, I mean, you have PewDiePie just came over completely, just made the announcement 2 weeks ago, I think, 3 weeks ago, that he is 100% DLive now.
Yeah.
And in his first stream, he gave away something like, $50,000. Yeah, $50,000 worth of lino to different streamers. And then last week he gave away another 20 grand, I think, when he streamed. T-Series is coming over.
Oh, wow.
As well. So those two guys are going to be big pushes on DLive as well. And that's kind of what's grown the community quite a bit just over the last month. But the crazy thing about that is like you see this influx of new people watching, like the people that are following like T-Series and PewDiePie. But you also have like new people coming in and seeing like what DLive is and understanding that like you can be rewarded for your streams or even just for being an avid viewer just by participating in streams and stuff like that. So it's not without its trolls and things like that, like any other but it's definitely a really, really cool community to be a part of. It's super supportive too. It's crazy.
It's such a cool way too that they reward you for being active in the chat, whereas like everyone else, like all the other platforms are like, yeah, we love our lurkers because then when you're partnered, a lurker means like so much money every 15 minutes or whatever your contract is. Whereas there, it's like they encourage more being active and actually engaging, which is awesome. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my lurkers, but it makes for so much better stream when you have someone to talk to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's kind of one of the things too that I tell any first time streamers that come into the Legion of Gamers, or I'm a member of another huge community called VVV Gaming. Basically they're still they used to be really big in the MLG circuit back in like 06 and 07 with Gears of War and things like that. Recently they've kind of come back to a more community aspect and made the community a whole lot more cohesive. Obviously people get older, they have families, things like that. They still have some competitive teams with Rocket League as well, but I mod their Discord as well, but they're getting a few more streamers over with DLive too. But like in those communities and things like that, like they're noticing that like the content creation and the ability for people to actually earn off of DLive is definitely something worth checking out too. So
definitely. Now, like you said, you do have some trolls there and stuff like that. Like, compare, like when you do get your trolls there, how do you deal with them? Like, what advice would you give to people just starting out streaming, how to deal with their trolls and stuff?
Yeah. So, okay. Going back to that a little bit, when I tell people streaming, they always kind of wonder, how do you get viewers or how do you hold on to viewers and things like that. My biggest thing is, now I'm gonna preface this by saying, yes, I had almost 1,000 viewers on Twitch. I think I maxed on Mixer at maybe 250 or 300 during the time I was doing this. I'm over 400 now on DLive in just 2.5 months. But what I do, and I tell people a lot, is the first time you start streaming, you have to learn to talk to yourself. And that's like the hardest thing. I think that was the hardest thing for me, because I can talk to people. I'm a people person. This is going to come off really bad, but I don't like talking, especially about myself. But narrating what you're doing, talking to people, and then that kind of brings in, you have viewers that come in. You don't know when somebody's watching you or lurking. I mean, yes, you might see that little, that one viewer change to a 2, but you don't know if they're actually watching or if they've got you, they're doing laundry and they're not even paying attention or whatever it might be. When those lurkers come in, it's interacting with the chat, talking to people. And you can tell when there's a lurker in there, if they're lurking. I don't call them out. So when I was on Twitch, there used to be different, like UIs and stuff out there. I think, was it Scortbot and Scottybot were one that you could actually see who is sitting in your chat. Like if you used it well, you can actually see, even if they're lurking, you still see the username that's sitting there.
Chatbot does that. Ankbot or
Yep. And I don't like calling them out, but I do like every now and then if I see that, maybe one or two people's lurking or one or two people's actually talking in chat, but there's 10 people watching. I love to just kind of throw a question out to the community or, do something not ridiculous, but my games tend to be a lot of me either making stupid decisions or getting killed a lot. I'm a variety streamer, but I'm a BR player at heart. Like I love battle royale games. Not a huge Fortnite fan, but I cut my teeth in PUBG on PC. Moved that over to Xbox. I played some Fortnite for a while with a couple buddies of mine, but recently I got into the Blackout scene and played that competitively for a little while.
Nice.
Then I wasn't happy with some of the changes that they made. But then recently I've picked up Firestorm Battlefields. BR, and it's never going to be a competitive game. I'm sad to say, but I love playing that game because it's back to basics in BR. Like you don't have the jumping around, the wall walking, things like that. Your sights are even pretty limited, but it's Battlefield, like vanilla Battlefield on a BR map, and it's just a lot of fun. But yeah, things like that. Like I'm super salty. I get killed a lot. I'm not the best player, but I make it fun. So kind of back to your question, when it comes down to it, like when you have those lurkers and things like that, I just love talking to the community. I've gotten to a place now where I went from being kind of uncomfortable to where I'd just be talking to my party. Wouldn't really interact with chat unless it interacted with me. And then I got to the point where I love helping people. So if somebody comes into the chat and they just say, hey, or they, drop the follow, I'm like, welcome to the stream. How are you liking DLive? What do you play? Things like that. And it usually opens people up. But like you said, lurkers are good too. I mean, you might have one person that lurks you every single time you go live. And that's just another viewer for you to look at. And if they don't want to talk, they don't have to talk. I'm not going to push or force people to talk, but it's definitely kind of an interesting game to play, I guess, if you will.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And I find too, like I've gotten to the point where I don't even turn on the viewership anymore. And even I'll even shut off like who's in chat and just kind of wait for the people to talk. Cause it's kind of, I found when I first started out, you're watching those numbers and that's something that I think we all do when we started. We all focus so hard on the numbers and it gets you down and you get frustrated. I found the minute I shut all that off, like I think about a month or two before I made partner, it just changed everything. Cause now I'm like, I can focus on the game. I can focus on the content. And I just sat there and I would talk. I would act crazy. Kind of like you're saying, like I would just do things to try to but try to get the chat engaged in it. Like do something like fall out of my chair or, well, that was only because that's when I had my wired headset and tried to do a quick dance and, now it's all wireless.
But see, that's the crazy thing. Like for me, like I said, I'm still kind of an introvert. So I'm not super like flamboyant, but I tend to make a fool of myself quite a bit on stream. Yeah. Like I'll say something that like I've had clips made of me saying just ridiculous stuff that are still come back to me. Yeah. And it's not derogatory or anything like that, but it's just these random things that like a month later, somebody will come up and like mention it in chat. And I'm just like, yes, saw that clip too on Twitter. Awesome. Yep. But the crazy thing for me too is like I had mentioned earlier, sometimes the people that I play with get a little salty at me is like when somebody follows me, I make it a big deal. Yeah. Because obviously we're out here for the follows. I know that when I was working up to that 200 mark on DLive, it was a constant it was a grind. And that's what streaming is. Streaming's a grind. You just have to basically get used to it and love it. That's just what it is. But when I was making that grind and I was, every follow meant something to me. Once I broke that 200 and I applied for partner, like it felt like the weight of the world was off my shoulders. Oh yeah. I can get back to just streaming, playing games, having fun, talking to people. I didn't feel like I was, quote unquote, trying to impress people. And that's where my content came back. Like, I feel like it felt natural to me to come back and just, be a part of that and just say, you know what, I'm here to stream, I'm here to create the content and I'm happy to do it. And now it's just, I'm not making any like serious push to become a global partner with DLive. But again, just like the full-time streaming thing, if it happens, I'm going to embrace it. If it doesn't happen, I'm at the point now in my life where I'm okay with that because I have so much more tie into the community that I'm happy helping people get to where they want to be versus like pushing myself to be, you know, a household brand, I guess.
Yeah. No, totally understand. And I mean, it's like you said, if it happens, it happens. It's kind of just the icing on the cake. And I kind of feel the same way. Like I applied for partner because I got not so much push, but my community was like, hey, do it.
Yeah.
I stream more for the community, and I'm kind of like you. Like I'm a huge introvert. Like I stay in the house. I don't leave the house if I don't have to. The only time I'll see my friends maybe is like some of my army buddies when I served, or if there's a hockey game on.
Service, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome. But that's pretty much the only time I'll really leave. But I find like the minute that camera goes on, it's almost like I can be myself, but I'm in the safety of my house where I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like I can just let loose and kind of just.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Like at work, I'm a pretty quiet person. Like I said, I can talk to people, all day long if I need to about things. But when the camera comes on, it's definitely a stress reliever for me, and I can just kind of sit back and just let it flow. And like I said, sometimes even the games become secondary to me to what I'm doing in stream. If I'm providing content, I have I have one scene set up on OBS where I call it talk to me, but it's basically like my cam and then a small cam of what I'm doing. And I'll just sit there and I'll chat. I'll talk to people, answer questions. I've had people come in and ask about stream setups. I've built, use like PC part picker to build stream computers for people that are on a budget, and I'll throw those together and kind of show them what they need to get or what they can do. So streaming has definitely gone from being during my Twitch days, I was definitely hardcore into trying to create the best possible content, like best plays basically. That when I was on Twitch, it was a lot of PUBG for me, a lot of Rainbow Six, and that was a lot of competitive. And that was again during like my follow for follow days. So I thought I had to, make these hard pushes to be good at games and to be good at
best
what I do.
Best.
Yep, exactly. And then I kind of realized that wasn't where I wanted to be. And now like I've gone from playing solely BR or, first person shooters to last night, a really good friend of mine, Nerd Problems, she's part of the VVV community and the Legion of Gamers as well. She and I started playing Elder Scrolls Online. I have not played that game since it was in vanilla form.
Oh, wow.
And I pushed myself to beat the game. And it's been 4 or 5 years now.
5 years, at least. Yeah.
And we came back to it and just started a new playthrough last night. We randomly have been playing like a Pokemon emulator on stream every now and then, or things like that. But we constantly come back to Firestorm. But games like that, Division 2, Anthem, all sorts of different stuff. Like we'll pull out. Sometimes we'll have LOG community nights. We played golf with friends for a couple of weeks. That game is completely infuriating. If you've ever played it, if you play with a group of people, it's just maddening. But it creates some of the most ridiculous streams and some of the funnest,
content.
Times with content with a lot of just different people, and it's a good time, definitely.
I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to draw people in by the game you're playing, like new people anyway, because they're going to want to see the gameplay
the first time. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how they see the first time, because no matter what program you're on, whether it's Twitch, Mixer, DLive, they're going to find you by going to games they want to watch.
Yep.
And then from there, it's can you hold on to those people by the content you're creating?
Exactly.
And I've had people follow me across games. Like there have been nights where we played 3 different games, and I'll switch, what game I'm playing from Battlefield to, whatever Pokemon, or going back to Let's Talk to Me. And they're constantly they're there with you. It's kind of ride or die type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you were saying, like it's not so mainstream now where like all people want to watch are like the competitive, like MLG type streams now. Like people love, like myself, I love like watching art streams at night because it's so relaxing.
Yes.
I love watching those Let's Talk streams, like you're saying, like where you just sit and talk streaming, or just.
I was watching one the other day of a guy doing movie review, and just like talking about the new Avengers movie. I like those movies. I probably won't see the new Avengers movie the first week it comes out, but I was interested in just hearing his take on like where it should go and what things were going on. And like, I don't think I would search those those videos out on YouTube.
No, same here.
I wouldn't go to YouTube and say, you know, what are people saying about Avengers? But when they're on a streaming platform and I'm wanting to help the community out, or I'm wanting to, like, you just kind of stumble across this stuff. And, you know, if the content's good or the person's good at talking to the community, like, I'm just going to sit there and watch and probably throw my lino at them.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. No.
Yeah.
No, I love that. When I started streaming, my son was like my biggest inspiration. Like he was huge into watching like Dandy DM, Stampy Cat, all like he's huge Minecraft nerd. And not that nerd's a good thing. I'm a nerd. I'm not using that in a derogatory term.
Dude, no, I will take nerd, geek, you name it. I'm all of it. It's perfect. Totally fine.
But he's like my biggest inspiration. Like when I started streaming, it was totally 100% by accident. I always talked about wanting to stream just because he lives with my ex. So the only time we get to we visit each other once a month. I try to drive down because he's about 12 hours away. Then I get him every holiday, etc., whatever. But for the most part, our bonding is we game together. We play Minecraft, Plants vs. Zombies, stuff like that. So last year I was playing NHL 18 because I'm a huge hockey fanatic. And we were on Skype and he's like, Dad, can I watch you play? And I'm like, well, how do I do that? And he's like, well, just hit the broadcast button and then I can watch you. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. And here I am, total noob thinking, oh, if I hit broadcast while we're in a party, it'll just go to my party members.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, so we're here, I'm playing my game and he's like watching and then all of a sudden I'm like, someone like, oh, nice goal. And I'm like, the heck was that? Who is this random like person on the top right corner of my screen? And I'm like, Elijah, is that one of your friends? And he's like, no. He's like, you know, when you broadcast out, everyone can see it. And I'm like, what? Like, are you kidding? And then from then I had the bug. And then now it's like we stream together. We'll play Minecraft together every Monday usually, and we'll stream it. And we made it into our little family Minecraft time kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah.
So for yourself, who would you say or what inspired you to start streaming?
Oh, God, that's a really interesting question. So I said that I was an introvert. So I've got a group of friends that I went through high school, college gaming. I mean, we used to play Gears of War constantly on the weekends. And that was like, obviously growing up with these guys, and playing games with them was a constant thing. You get to see them quite a bit, you know, on the weekends and hanging out and stuff like that. But now since, you know, you grow up, you start adulting, you have a family, they only live like 25, 30 minutes away from me, but I never see them.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my way of like, gaming is really the only way that we really interact with each other. I mean, we have a group chat that goes on a daily basis, but, gaming was kind of a big thing to kind of stay connected to friends. And then just kind of like for me, I wouldn't necessarily say I have any one person that's an inspiration that started it for me, but I think it was just something new. I have an addiction to liking new stuff. And if I find something that I can grab a hold of and like understand, like I'm obviously being in the cybersecurity realm, it's kind of a similar thing, but if I have a problem in front of me and I can understand the inner workings of all of it, it makes me really happy. Yeah. So streaming was kind of one of those things because there, you know, aside from hitting the go live button, that's all you really have to do. But then understanding like botting your chat and, you know, the programs that it takes to set it up and to make it sound good and to look good. And side note, the overlays, I hate doing audio. When a new streamer comes in and says, can you help me set up my mic and my audio and all this stuff for, you know, OBS or XSplit? I'm like, oh Lord. Yeah. But it's like solving those problems is a big thing. But I think as far as inspiration, a lot of it was just connecting. I'm, like I mentioned, I'm a huge advocate for the community. So anything that was able to get me in front of other people, it was definitely something that I think kind of spurred me into it. When I was streaming on Mixer a bit and I was just doing my, you know, with my Xbox, the company Lightstream, was a big thing that popped up to me. I was a community mod for Lightstream for a long time when they first came on the scene. Oh, nice. And I'm still a huge advocate for that company. I love what they're doing. We had them on one of our podcasts a while back, and we were talking to Stu and a couple of the other guys from Lightstream and just kind of what they're doing. And anybody that's like, I want to stream on Mixer, even if you're using OBS, I tell them, check out Lightstream.
Yeah.
They've got some amazing stuff going on for Mixer. But I think being a part of that community, or being a part of any community, is kind of what keeps pushing me, and the ability to help out. If I'm looking at my Discord right now, and I have 20 some Discord channels that I'm a part of. Granted, I can't obviously monitor them all the time.
Yeah.
But being a part of those communities, being able to answer questions, I pop in every now and then and kind of say hi and see if anybody's got questions and stuff like that. But it's definitely community. That's kind of what keeps me going, for sure.
No, I'd have to agree. Like the community, and like you said, it doesn't matter what platform you're on. The community is like amazing. Like the fact that so many streamers can get together, so many people can get together and have something in common.
Yep.
And be able to share that passion with each other is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% without a doubt. That's probably my biggest inspiration, I think, in this whole thing.
And on the topic of like you help so many people with like setting up stuff and that like that. What has been the biggest technical issue you've come across when you've hit that live button? Whether it be like audio. You were, I was just gonna say, whether it be your mic muted the entire time or camera frozen or.
Yeah. So peripherals are kind of one of those things that kind of get set up. Like, I think the biggest frustration for me would probably be, those days when you just had a stream the other night, and then you come back and you turn on your computer and get it all set up and your camera's not working. It's like, what could have possibly gone wrong between last night and today? Why? I think I love technology. I love working with computers and stuff like that. I mean, I recently built a new streaming rig that I'm very proud of, but I think for me, some of the things that kind of pop up here every now and then it's definitely like the intricacy, the macro of it. The audio has always kind of been a thing for me that I didn't quite understand. For some odd reason, especially streaming from console, and using a cap card, there are so many different audio intricacies that can go on that you can throw off and screw up and things like that. Like, for the longest time, I couldn't figure out how to get party chat and game audio into my headphones and still stream to my PC and for everybody to hear it. And then, I came across the Xbox app and setting up a secondary account on there and then plugging it all in through that and going that route. So it's my setup is definitely not professional, but it works for me. And I would say it's probably the simplest way to do it. I don't use digital cables. I tried it. Again, the ins and outs and, all that stuff it was too much. I don't have the time to sit down for 2 hours and test and do all that stuff. So whatever I could find that was easy works for me. And it typically kind of works for, other streamers too that come across.
And that's the thing. Like, a lot of people think they have to have the fanciest setup, like the 10 monitors and 5, the big mixer board, audio mixer board, and all that. I mean, there's partner streamers on Mixer that have no camera and still stream using Lightstream.
I went no cam for a long time. Not because I didn't want to, but because I just didn't. Either I didn't have the money, I didn't have the time, whatever. And then the other thing, I spent a good amount of money on my PC. But I do have 3 monitors. I have one nice gaming monitor, and the other 2 that I use to monitor chat and things like that are old Dell monitors that I found at a secondhand store that I just kind of put together and ran
just
with.
through
Exactly. So it definitely, I always tell people, I'm like, don't spend the money to make your stream amazing when you want to do this, but you don't know if you're going to stick with it. It's exactly. It's a huge waste of money if you decide that this isn't for you. And yes, with computers and stuff, you can usually offload it and make your money back pretty quickly. But at the same time, if you're just starting out, especially console streamers, stream to Mixer, use the built-in stuff for Xbox or whatever PlayStation has to Twitch. Start with that. See if you like talking to people and if you like, this grind in the life that you're in, and then from there start building into it. Exactly. I've built 2 or 3 different stream computers where, I'd go through a point in life where, I either needed the money or I couldn't stream. So I'd sell it, make the money, come back and just stream on Xbox and then, do it all over again. And right now I'm kind of at the point where I use my computer for more than just streaming now. So that kind of makes it definitely makes it worth it.
A little more, yeah, it makes it a little more worth upgrading it and keeping it up to date.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And on that note, like when I built it, I didn't put a 9900 in it. I built the computer basically to stream my console and maybe play games at me. Like that's not. I think I've got a newer i5 in it. I've got 32 gigs of RAM, but I'm not using one of the newest graphics cards. I'll tell you that for sure. I'm using a 1070.
Which is fine.
Just like it, yeah, exactly. And it does what I need it to do. And that's the biggest thing. Like, build something in your budget that does what you need it to do. But the other thing is make sure it's upgradable for the future. It's make sure that you get a motherboard that can handle the next generation of processors. And then from there, you can do whatever you want to do.
Exactly. And that's what I tell people when they come to me for builds. I'm like, or they'll be like, hey, I see this computer at Best Buy or Future Shop or one, and I'm like, don't buy pre-built. I'm like, go to an actual micro town or whatever, like a local computer store, and sit down and talk to an actual tech. And you tell them, like, I went to Micro something, I can't remember what it's called, Micro Express. And I went and talked to the guy. I'm like, listen, here's what I do. Here's what I want. And he's like, oh, I stream to Twitch. I'm like, cool. I'm like, what do you use? And he's like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, honestly, I was like, most of my gaming is console with the exception of a few PC games, but they're like not highly intense, like Civilization 6, like little simulation type games like that. And he's like, here's what you need. Boom, boom, boom. $1,500. I'm like, perfect. And he's like, your motherboard's upgradable. Everything's upgradable. You get this, and that. He's like, if you want it, he's like, you can make this a $4,000 or $5,000 PC. I'm like, nah, my wife would kill me. I don't need that.
Yeah. That's the thing too for me is like, I built mine for, but I can, like, if I really wanted to tomorrow, I could make it a $2,000 to $2,500 PC. Exactly. Because I made, I've got the motherboard that whatever it's, it can handle the 9900, but I've got an i5 in it. And it's just like, that's exactly where it is. Like if you want to start streaming, and if you decide that a PC is right for you, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars. You can, if it's just for streaming and you're not going to game on it, that's even better. I mean, if you get a cap card and, get a computer with an i5 and a 1050 in it, as long as you've got a cap card, you're going to be fine. So I think that's another trap that a lot of new streamers fall into, is they think that they have to have the best of the best, and it's not true.
No, not at all. It's one of those things that I didn't really upgrade anything until probably 6 months in, when I was like, pretty much, I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I'm really enjoying this. It's filling a hole that I left the military 2 years ago this May, and I went down. I went into a spiral. I lost that camaraderie because a lot of guys got posted away from the closest base. And I found, once I got into streaming, I found it again. And about 6 months in, I was like, you know what? My life is starting to turn around. Like, my wife notices, my doctors notice. And I'm like, this is something I could see myself doing full time. And I don't even do it for the money. Like, any money I make goes right back into the stream. So all my upgrades have been bought from the stream, or it goes towards giveaways for the stream, because I want to thank everyone. Like, without the community, I'd probably be in a dark place still.
And I see that's the crazy thing is, like, growing up, my entire goal of the Air Force, and I ended up hurting my knee senior year in high school, and they wouldn't accept me anymore. So I have friends, I have family members that went into the military. For me, that was kind of one of those things where I was like, I wish I was there. Like, my best friend just got out of the Army a couple years ago and moved away. And that was kind of something for me too, that was really difficult to kind of hold on to. So, like, gaming is definitely one of those things that kind of keeps us connected every now and then. But I think that, like, streaming can definitely improve people. The other thing, another trap people get into is they think that they have to stream 7 days a week. You gotta take
8 hours a day.
You gotta take a break. For me, I stream anytime I game. It doesn't matter. I don't really have a huge set schedule. It doesn't matter when I'm playing either. I just throw the stream up and I go. And that's kind of how I do mine. But I think it's definitely one of those things where a lot of people think that they have to go 120% into it right away. And sure, if you've got the time, and if you've got the money, do it. And that, that actually might push you to the top. If you can dedicate that amount of time to it, and that amount of money, and you can get yourself out there and you're good at networking, absolutely. But for 95% of the rest of the community, you gotta give yourself a break. I mean, even if you look at some of the bigger streamers, you look at, guys like Ninja, Shroud, Dr. Disrespect, those guys take days off. Yeah. They do other things. If you follow them on, Twitter, Facebook, they're taking pictures of their significant others out, going to dinner or whatever it is. But you have to give yourself time. And unless this is like your life calling is to be a pro streamer or a pro gamer, you gotta find a healthy balance. That's for sure.
Oh, 100%. It's like Metro Birdman said in today's podcast, actually dropped today, is to design your schedule around your life, not your life around your schedule.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like you said, like you're gonna get burnt out, and it happens. Like I remember going, I remember going like 6-7 hours a day. Like I would go when my wife, like she's on parental now, but when she wasn't working, I was going like Monday through Friday. I'd get up, I'd go at like 10 in the morning, I'd start, and I would stream until she came home at 6 at night every single day, Monday through Friday. Yeah. And it got to the point where I was like, I don't know if I want to do this now. It's starting to become a chore. I'm getting burnt out. And I was looking through my VODs and I could see at that like 3 hour mark where I'm like not excited anymore. I'm just kind of going through the motions.
The games that you used to love just aren't fun anymore.
Exactly.
That was kind of one of the things for me too, is like I said, when Blackout came out, my goal for Blackout, because I was streaming on Mixer at the time, was to not go pro, but to be competitive. I wanted to be able to play in tournaments, and I wanted to be able to, get a crew together. And I had a pretty decent Blackout crew. I think within the first like 2 months, we racked up like something like 350 wins. Wow. And we were pushing really hard. And then I realized, like, I started, like, my viewership on Mixer just wasn't where I wanted it to be at the time. For that push, I started getting burnt out. The game wasn't fun anymore. And then I just kind of took a little bit of a step back, and I poured myself back into the community a little bit. And then I found DLive and kind of sparked that for me. So
sparked it back up for you, gave you that passion again.
Yeah, exactly. And like that, back at that point, I would have said, I'm only playing Blackout. I'm not trying other games. This is what I want to do, and this is where I want to be. And now I never would have seen myself as a variety streamer ever. And now it's like, I love it. I live for it. Like every day we're trying to figure out, what are we going to play today? Yeah. We're going to continue the Firestorm push because it's just fun, or are we going to play something completely different? Like, I haven't played a Pokemon game since I was in high school. And recently we picked up, was it Sun and Moon on an emulator, and just started kind of, dinking around with that and playing. And it's a good time. So yeah, I like switching it up. When I play BR games, I am definitely competitive in those than I am in anything else. But I think for me now, it's the competitive side of it is gone. Yeah. And it's more about just having fun when I play and not burning myself out.
And at the end of the day, I mean, that's what I tell everyone, that's what it should all be about, is you're trying to have fun. You're trying to give other people entertainment so they're having a fun time. And the game is just kind of background noise almost.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is like, so if you think about where kind of streaming is based off of, is obviously playing video games. People, video games are a form of entertainment and fun. And the moment that becomes work, it's not a good thing. And that's different though from the grind too. Like, people talk about the grind. They hate the grind of streaming, or they hate the grind of, becoming competitive in a game. Yeah. That's a little different. If you have aspirations to be a pro gamer or to compete at the highest level, you have to grind. Like you have to put in the time, you have to practice. The same thing with streaming. You have to have good graphics and good transitions and all that sort of stuff. But the grind for streaming is something that you have to be able to enjoy. And that again comes with, take some time off, step away from the stream, watch your own videos. Oh my God. I hate watching myself, but every now and then I'll go back and watch a stream and say, okay, right here, I looked like I was about to fall asleep. I should have cut it off at that point. Or, I'm not looking at the chat enough, or, I'm interacting, but it's just, one word answers or something like that. Like, critique yourself. It's definitely, it's eye-opening. And I still hate watching myself to this day. I'm not a huge fan of my voice, number one, but I think I think when it comes down to, watching what I do and seeing, watching other streamers that I follow quite a bit, like just seeing kind of the differences and the nuances, it's definitely, it's helpful. That's for sure.
Oh, 100%. And I tell that to everyone too, because a lot of people come to me like, well, how did you get better? And I'm like, honestly, watching my VODs, biggest thing I could have ever done was just, because I ask myself when I watch it, when I'm done, I'm like, okay, would I have stayed to watch this person if it wasn't me?
Right. Yeah.
And if my answer is no, then I know something's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing too, is like, I'll even ask friends sometimes, like, I have a group of friends that, if they weren't able to make it into streamer, I wasn't playing games with them. Hey, will you go check, the last hour of this and just kind of scroll through it and see what you see? Do I act like I'm hating my life at that point, or do I, and the other thing is, look at my gameplay. Like, am I just like, the Division 2 is a game that I kind of like to dabble in every now and then. And like, I'll notice there are times where we'll find bugs, and there's one that got clipped on me where I was stuck on something and I could not move. Like I could spin around in circles. I couldn't jump over something. It was like 15 minutes straight. And the people I was playing with were just laughing their asses off. Like just, I mean, and that content right there, like the chat was rolling. People were loving it. It got clipped on me. It was extremely embarrassing to be posted on Twitter. But at the same time, like that was some of the best content, that you create, is just those random moments. So
definitely. And again, that's what it's all about, is those random fun moments.
Absolutely. If you can get one of those ridiculous stream, like if you're streaming for say 3 hours at a time and you get one of those, like those are the things you can share. And, that's kind of where the viewers boost up. Like, I'm a huge advocate of Twitter. A lot of people hate it. Because Twitter can be a grind too. But I have a decent number of followers on Twitter. And most of the time, like when I post something, I'll get quite a few likes or retweets out of it. And it's one of those things where like, that's kind of where I get a lot of my stuff. Like if I post something, or if I put something out there and people are just like, this is ridiculous, or, you should have done this, or you just look absolutely stupid. Like those are the fun times where the interaction comes. And that's where a lot of like the networking comes out of it too. Like if you can post a video and you get a couple people that you've never talked to before, just like make a comment or like it. And, that's for me, that's affirmation too.
Oh, 100%. That's one of those things too, is we tell a lot of, like I'm part of one of the teams I'm part of, is we 100% advocate to use social media, Twitter and Instagram, because like you said, they're huge for networking. And we get those people that are like, well, I don't care about that. I just want to stream. I don't need a social media following. But it's like, I know Mixer nowadays, they look at your social media following and they say, okay, is this person what, because at the end of the day, they want to know what you're going to bring to the table. And and once you make partner, that's not the end game. That's like the start of the game.
No,
that's
like, that's where the big time comes in. Like, if you can hold yourself as a partner, and if you can continue to create good content, and as well as, pushing, the platform you're on, like, when I was talking to you about DLive, I don't know everything about DLive. I don't know, the inner workings of, how the numbers are calculated and things like that. But for me, it's about, saying, if you want this out of a community, or you want this, you should definitely check this out. And that's where, like, for me, I would say probably 70 to 80% of the posts that I make on Twitter are usually about like either other people or things I'm seeing, DLive in general, or even like I'll still post about Twitch or Mixer, like, look what they're doing or look what's happening. And even though I'm no longer like affiliated with Lightstream, like when they post stuff about new acquisitions or, new things that they're coming out, I'll be like, check this out if you're a Mixer streamer. It's amazing, or, things like that. So like I would say networking is probably number 2 on my list of like the most important things for a streamer to do.
Oh, 100%. Like without networking, you're not going to get anywhere. I guess at the end of the day,
it's true.
Like, because I could go on and on about networking. Because I get so fed up when people ask like, oh, well, I do network. I'm always in so-and-so stream, but he never returns the favor. Well, that's not networking. Like, do you have a genuine connection with this person? Like we started a thing in one of the teams we're on where we're like, okay, every week here, we want to challenge you, go out, meet 5 new streamers, actually get to know them, come back here. And we have a channel made up for it. post in the channel who the streamer was, who they were, and what you learned about them, and like, because then we'll check them out and we'll see. And some of the people were like, you know what? Since doing that, the guy I created a really good bond with this person. They've come and watched me. They've rated me like this guy, and they're like so excited. And I'm like, that's what networking is. It's not about expecting something in return. It's just going out and genuinely creating a friendship with someone and creating that connection.
Well, it definitely kind of goes back to that follow for follow mentality, though. Like if people are going out there and they think networking is going into a stream and asking for a follow, or, you know, say on D Live, you drop 100 lino on somebody and you expect them to return the favor. No, that's not networking. You have to genuinely, you know, absorb the content, comment on the content. You know, you have to you have to sell yourself to this person without asking for it. And, you know, that's how you build those followers. I mean, we've got a streamer in the Legion of Gamers that, I introduced him to D Live. He started maybe a couple of weeks after me, but he's relatively new. He streamed on Mixer for a little while. I guess I can plug his name. His name's It's Joe Mama. But so he started on D Live a couple weeks after me. Like I said, I just recently hit 400 followers. This guy is at 1,000 followers, I think, just as of a couple days ago on D Live. Wow. And like he's hammering it pretty hard. And he went through some of those ups and downs of streaming too, like everybody else does. And the networking, I think what happened and what turned around for him was the fact that he reached out and he networked. And the other streamer that I run around with a lot, her name's Nerd Problems. She also came from Mixer. She did the Twitch thing, a little bit of Mixer. And I introduced her to D Live as well. And her following has just boosted through the roof because she provides good content and she networks constantly. Like she's always in people's streams, always talking to people, reaching out. So yeah, it's definitely like I said, I've got 25 plus streamer wisdom comments out there that are really short, but they're definitely something that I would definitely, not to kind of plug myself, but if you want
plug yourself.
If you want some content to like just kind of consume and get some ideas and some tips for streaming, go onto Twitter and just search #streamerwisdom. And I think there might be just a couple that aren't me, but there's 25 different posts in there that are just things that I have learned over my 5 years of doing this that are definitely helpful for people to look at. And I if anything, if I'm anything, I'm definitely a streamer for the community. So if I can provide help for people, or I can provide that kind of, I guess, peace of mind, knowing that like every single person out there has been through the ups and downs of this. Definitely check those out, read them. If you have questions, you can always hit me up too. But
definitely. Yeah. I have one right here now, which I think is really good. Number 24, never purchase followers, whether it's Twitter, Twitch, Watch Mixer. Those are just empty follows.
Yep.
I'm paraphrasing, of course. And even Instagram. I mean, any social media account, never purchase followers.
Yeah. And that even goes along the lines of that whole, like, you're going to, like I said, when I was on Twitch, I thought I was just king of the hill, getting up to 1,000 follows on Twitch. And then I kind of took a step back and realized, whenever I go live, I'm only having 10 people in here watching and maybe 3 of them are commenting. Purchasing followers or donating tons of your own hard-earned cash to try to get somebody to notice you is not the way to build a strong stream.
No, not at all. And there's the only way you should be buying how to say it is more about getting your brand out there, is maybe to sell it like as I don't know, a Facebook ad or something silly, like absolutely. Something like that. Because
it's true. You have to push your brand harder for you and get your brand in front of people that you may not. It's a quicker way to brand yourself, I guess, so to speak. So like when I was running a podcast with a friend of mine, we would do that on Facebook. We would, it's like $5 a week or however many follows. They kind of gave, like, you paid a percentage weekly, and it kind of got it out there. But we would use that, for our podcast, and it would definitely give you reach. But I don't see that as purchasing followers per se, like you said. It's more
spreading your brand.
Purchasing, it's spreading the brand. You got to be careful with stuff like that too. Like, I'm all for people joining any community you want. If it's a follow for follow community, fine, do it, because you're still in a community. But just understand what comes with that. Yeah. Understand that, unless you're creating good content and you're drawing people in, those follows might be empty. And that can wreak havoc on your mind as a streamer too.
Oh, 100%. Mm-hmm. The last real question, do you have any pre-stream rituals that you do before you start? Anything that pumps you up, gets you going, or do you just kind of hit that live button and say, screw it, I'm going?
Well, like I said earlier, I stream every time I game. So there's a lot of, for me, it's just hit the go button. But a lot of people that watch me know that I always wear a hat. Typically it's the exact same hat every time. I'm a huge coffee drinker. Yeah. But I'm a big supporter of Black Rifle Coffee Company. Yes. And not just because their coffee's good, but they're also huge supporters of the military and vets. Yep. And I'm like, that's a big part of me on the outside. I've done a lot of charity streams for, Operation Supply Drop and other things like that. And I think for me, any way that I can promote good companies on my stream, like I said, I don't have the viewers that people aren't watching me. I'm not an influencer, but if I can promote any good brands, I will do it. And I am like anybody that's watched me for the last, 5 months. Yeah, I guarantee you, there's probably 1 or 2 streams out there where I'm not wearing a hat, but I'm always wearing my BRCC hat. And I think that that's kind of one of those things for me that, I don't know. That's kind of my telltale. Like with my logo, that's me. That's you. A beard, a headset, and a hat. That's basically all it is. So
and that's a Black Rifle hat on in the picture, right?
It is.
Okay, I was going to say
that's the hat I wear. Yeah.
The logo looks so it's hard to make out, but it looks so familiar.
Yeah. Yep. And that's exactly what it is. And I've reached out to them a couple times, not necessarily. And this is the other thing too. Like another one of my streamer wisdom things is like affiliates and partnerships with companies. There's so many out there that I'll reach out to, or that you can reach out to and request, like a 10% off code or something like that. Yep. And I recently reached out to BRCC and I told them, I'm like, look, I am an avid user of your products. I wear your t-shirts and hats constantly. I'm just wondering if you guys have ever, had the idea of dabbling into esports or streaming, because I know that they have a lot of partnerships with companies that support the military. They have, with Killcliff and all sorts of other different products. But I don't know where they're at in this, and I don't expect them to be there. I mean, they're in a completely different realm. But I've reached out to him a couple of times and I said, this is what I'm doing. I'd love to continue promoting your products. Are you on board? Are you okay with me, doing this? And most of the time, these companies will come back and say, yeah, absolutely. The number one ad or the number one rule in marketing and advertising is there's no such thing as bad advertising. Exactly. If you can get your brand out there and your logo out there, it's great. But I think as far as rituals, I don't have a whole lot. I don't do push-ups. I don't do jumping jacks before I go in. But for me, I think it's more, I always look very similar in stream. Different t-shirt or different shirt every time, but I'm always got the headphones and the hat on.
Headphone and hats on. And it's funny you talk about too about reaching out to them, and I think it's a lot of people are worried about doing that, and I was too when I first started. But then after a while, the worst thing that can happen is they're going to say no, and you just move on.
Exactly.
I reached out
that's the other thing too. Go ahead.
I was going to say I reached out to, because I eat Mike and Ike's like crazy, like I love them. So I reached out to them because I would be on stream every day eating them. There's my little, they're in a little bowl beside me. It's my little, if I need a little pick me up, that's my snack. So I reached out to them on Twitter, and then I emailed them too. And I said, hey, here's what I do. I love your products. I literally probably go through a box a day, sometimes maybe more. I'm like, do you guys ever think of dabbling into the streamer world? And they actually got back to me within like a few days. And they said no. They said at the moment, we don't really have any affiliate programs, but they're like, we'll keep you in mind. And then they tweeted out to me. Same thing. They said, hey, nice. And they told me, they said, but you're more than welcome to go ahead and use our image on your stream and da da da.
Sure.
And sometimes I joke around. I'll be like, oh, this clip is brought to you by Mike and Ike's. It melts in your mouth and kind of just joking around. And I'll send a clip to them and they love it.
That's the other thing too, is like, they're not paying you for that. No. It's like the marketing, and especially in their eyes, like if they can reach to an audience without having to pay for it, granted, that's consumerism, and that's free advertising basically on their end. But
other mediums being reached.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of these companies are willing to say yes. Now, obviously, it comes to the point where, if you're asking for money or you're asking for a product code or something like that, that kind of dabbles into a different space. But
yeah,
a lot of those affiliate programs will do that on certain tier levels where they'll give you, because I'm also affiliated with Fade Grips, and I use them on my controllers and have for a long time. And that's how it kind of started for me, is like, I just tweeted out one day, I'm like, I just got my new Fade Grips in. I love them. You should check them out too. And then they're like, hey, we have an affiliate program. You should think about joining up. And I did, because I just, having that brand out there and, kind of behind you is always a good thing. And you never know. Like I've had companies reach out to me that I've turned down. And it sounds kind of ridiculous, but if it's not a product I support, or if it's not a product I use, I'm not going to put it, on my stream.
Exactly.
Just because yes, it's free advertising for them, but I can't speak to it. I can't tell people that this product is amazing because I don't know. So there's no point in me putting it out there. Now, if you're asking me to try your product, then I'd love to. And then I'll definitely give my honest opinion. But again, I'm not an influencer. That's not how my stream works. But, again, if I can speak to the product, I will definitely do it. That kind of the last thing for me is like, I would say 85% of my peripherals I use are Logitech.
Yeah.
And just because I've used their brand before they even got into gaming. And I'll tweet out every now and then, I've been using this mouse or this keyboard for forever and I absolutely love it. And, they'll tweet back, we're glad you love the product or whatever. And I've put their logo on my stream every now and then, but then you have people coming back and, oh, are you sponsored? Or, why are you doing this type of thing? It's like, because I support the product, I can speak to it and I love it. So,
well, exactly. You use it so you can speak to it about it. And not only that, but it's smart too, because now you got them liking your tweet, and they might retweet it, and then they got like millions of people. Now people are going to see Tibiryus. Oh, Tibiryus uses Logitech.
Right, that's marketing at its finest. That's reaching out and networking for sure.
Exactly. And I do the same thing in some tweets. I'll be like, all right, this stream is powered by Corsair because I really like the keyboard and I'll be gaming on and whatever. Like, and like same thing. They'll like it. They'll tweet it. They'll leave a little comment or a GIF or something, and you're like, awesome. That's where you gotta, obviously be careful if you're a new streamer coming into it and you want to do something like that. Sure, like when you're talking about it, don't say sponsored by, because it's not unless you obviously have the sponsorship. But yeah, if you powered by, brought to you by, I think my going live banner, or even on my Twitter, it says stream powered by, and I've got Xbox, D Live, Fade Grips, whatever, Discord, things like that. But they're like products that I use. So absolutely. Yeah, no, exactly. No, I love it, man. Yeah. It was awesome talking to you. Like, I'm sure we could go on for hours and hours.
Yeah, I'm sure we could.
What I'll get you to do first is drop any of your links, Twitter, D Live, Instagram, anything you want to share. This is all about you. So plug yourself, and then I'll get them from you as well, and then throw them in the description as well. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, you can find me on Twitter. I am at VVV Tibiryus. Again, that goes back to VVV Gaming. And that is basically kind of where you can find me on anything. So DLive is dlive.tv/VVV Tibiryus. And then obviously my community, it's the Legion of Gamers is built solely for people that play games. You don't have to stream. You don't have to, do all sorts of stuff, but yeah.
And that do you want me to link that the Twitter for that as well in the description as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Not a problem. Pretty sure I followed you guys too. Legion, it's LOG, right? It was the
we are LOG.
LOG. We are LLG. Okay. I'll make sure I get that in the description as well. Other than that, like I said, it was really great talking to you, and hope you enjoyed it. Hope everyone else listening enjoyed it. And yeah.
All right. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you everyone for listening, and have a great day. In the love. This concludes another episode of Behind the BS, Behind the Broadcasting Software. Please like and subscribe to be notified when the next episode drops. To find out how you could become a guest on Behind the BS, please email info@behindthebs.net or follow us on Twitter at @behind_BS. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Peace and love.